Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Sean Lemson, a team and leadership performance coach. Today we're going to talk about reorgs. Man, is it just me or are these things getting out of control? It used to be that companies did big reorgs once every couple years. Now it seems like they never stop reorging. This is having a huge impact on the workforce and team performance, and we need to talk about that more. Now, before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me get the message out. YouTube starts putting my videos in front of more users when it's being liked and when I have more subscribers. So thank you for the help. All right, let's go. Leaders are always telling me they want high-performing teams. More, better, faster, blah, blah, blah. I understand the drive for it. I mean, no one wants to pay people to sit around or slog through their work. However, among a whole bunch of factors that go into team performance, there is one that stands out to me as having the biggest impact, and that is team stability. I want to be clear here that by team performance, I mean the way individual human beings work together, the way they build trust, connection, safety, reliability, resilience, meaning, and impact. These things, when cultivated and cared for, will result in higher performance for a given team. However, big caveat here, the system the team operates inside of will slow down even the best teams. So we have a conundrum as leaders. We often must do some reorganization to fix the system, but those reorgs can throw teams into disarray and uncertainty and often force them to break apart and reform. There are two models we need to understand the problem. The first is called the Tuckman model. It's named after Bruce Tuckman, who invented it in 1965. You may know it as forming, storming, norming, and performing. The Tuckman model says that groups of people all go through those 5 stages: forming, storming, norming, and performing. We'll talk about each stage in a bit. The next model is Patrick Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team model. It says that teams without trust and safety have a fear of conflict, so they say little or nothing when things are about to go wrong. They don't agree or disagree with each other, they just say nothing. Because they don't have any conflict, individuals on the team have concerns they haven't aired, so they silently refrain from committing as individuals. And then when things go wrong, everyone points to everyone else, leading team members to further focus on their own success over the success of the team. Patrick Lencioni once said that the most dysfunctional teams he's ever worked with never argue. And that illustrates the point very nicely that silence doesn't equal agreement or team commitment. Now, Lencioni never met Tuckman as far as I know, but let's introduce one to the other now. In the forming stage of Tuckman's model, psychological safety and trust are low. It's just the way human beings evolve to get to know one another. We start out with our guard up. This means that as other people on the team are annoying us or are incorrect about something, we usually don't say anything. We're at Lencioni's fear of conflict stage. We're trying to keep the peace through silence. And then at some point, we can't take it anymore, and a disagreement finally surfaces. Sometimes these can be big. Tuckman calls this the storming phase. If teams don't make it out of this phase, they are stuck in Lencioni's model all the way to the end. A dysfunctional group of individuals focused on their own success over the success of the team. Some teams do make it out of the storming phase, but it can take months. Now, after storming, a new sense of normal settles in. Trust is built and rebuilt. More months pass. Side note, all of this takes even longer when teams are full-time remote. We can speed the process up a bit by having them work together in person, maybe 1 week a quarter. Take a look at my 3-part series on remote working for a deeper dive on that topic. I'll put the link in the description below. Anyway, after usually a great deal of time, the team learns to call each other out without having it be personal. They learn to become married to the problem rather than to their individual solutions to the problem, and they reach Tuckman's performing stage. High-performing teams seem rare to us because we've become too comfortable breaking teams apart, so we never get to see human beings really bond around their work anymore. What a shame. Every time a leader decides to reorg, they send many teams back to the forming stage. Depending on how long the team has been together, we are blowing apart months and months of work that they did to build that connection. Not work for your company, human work. The work of connection or disconnection that is always an undercurrent in our lives. And we're not taking that seriously enough. Leaders are reorging so often that teams are being pinned into Tuckman's forming stage. So you can imagine the look on my face when these same leaders are still asking me to help them improve team performance. It's like they're pouring sugar in the gas tank of their car and then asking me to make it go faster. So, leaders, while I want you to focus on the system the teams are working inside of that may require some organizational changes, you gotta settle down on these reorgs. You have to build stable, robust, multifunctioning teams that you bring changing work to, rather than reconstructing teams every time the work changes. Because the work is always going to change. Don't chase that. Learn from the Navy SEALs. They make robust, adaptable teams made up of specialists. They don't try to keep all those specialists busy all the time. They focus on the mission and know that each specialist may have their moment in glory as the work evolves. Remember, there are always other ways that you can positively impact team performance in the system besides reorging the teams. Try looking for unnecessary handoffs and places the baton is on the ground with no one running with it. That may not require a reorg of teams, but a revisit of process. And finally, involve the teams in the process. They know better than you what's really slowing them down. The most frustrating part of most reorgs is that they're done by leaders to us rather than with us. And many times those leaders don't have a clue what's happening on the ground and are making these decisions in a vacuum for usually the wrong reasons. The people on your teams are human beings, and there is no avoiding the psychology we've all evolved to have around trust and safety. Reorgs, turnover, and layoffs ensure that no one feels safe, and then engagement drops and performance is even more impacted. When you reorg constantly, you're sabotaging your own success. One of your most important jobs as a leader is to create safety and stability for your teams. Without it, there will be little chance of improving team performance or team member engagement. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.